Street art to me is, any form of artistic expression that collaborates with where it's placed in public. It could be anything really, as long as it's a collaboration just between you and what's already there in nature. I just started out as like a necessity to express myself. I didn't have any really creative outlet to do it with. Like nothing was happening, so I had to do something. I didn't want to waste my time. That was it. I was tired of wasting my time doing nothing. And so here I am doing stuff. Just driving around so much. In LA, you tend to do that. So you see how the city changes, as the years go by, or the months go by, or the weeks go by. Well, anyways, I started to notice that the telephone companies were just abandoning their phone booths and taking out their phones and just leaving the metal structures behind. They just left them there like trash, kind of. There's this whole theory going around that the rise in cell phone usage has started disrupting bees migration patterns, and that's the reason that they were dying and all that stuff. Well, if it was true or not, it didn't matter. I think I needed to say something anyways with it. So because of the rise in cell phone usage, that's why they were taking out these phones in the first place. And I was just well, not only is my name Bumblebee, but I think I know a way that I can express myself in this way using street art. So I started making these beehives out of paper mache. Eventually I got the idea to use the bee section out of the phone book, and then I would paint them and then put these little clay bee sculptures in them. And it was something that nobody else was really doing at the time, creating these sculptures. So as far as bringing sculpture into the playing field, I guess it was sort of this new thing, and people were really in awe about it, saying why are you doing this so much work for nothing, basically. But I guess just to get the message across. I guess at first you really get a rush of doing it. It's kind of like running into the ocean and just running into it, or jumping into a pool. You feel that kind of rush, and then the relief after, you've done something. But after a while that gets kind of old, and you're just kind of well, that was fun, but the consequences are pretty, they don't, it's not, after a while it's just not worth it to get caught and all that stuff. So I love the fact that people can see my work just randomly. I love getting shows too. I mean, just it lets you know that you're doing something right. These artists can't just live off of doing stuff for free. Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. I've been very fortunate to be one of the artists that kind of gets to sell his work constantly. I personally think that the work that I show is quality work that people can all identify with. I'm very fortunate to have fans that like to support what I do. That's how I see it. All this isn't just for nothing. I mean, my parents had never gone to an art gallery. I doubt if they ever went to a museum ever. So they had no idea anything about the art world. So, when you don't know of something, you're scared of it. So you wouldn't want your kid to do something that you have no idea about. when you're growing up, you really don't think like, oh, I could just, you don't apply to be an artist. You know, there's no like job where you're like an artist. Like you just have to be one and like, you know, just do it yourself. So yeah, they wanted to meet, I don't know, they want, you know, my dad always just told me, oh, you should be a doctor or a lawyer. And it's just like, Dad, I'm not that smart. Like, I don't have that much patience, like, for school. A lot of people were like, what are you doing? Like, this is retarded, and you're just wasting your time. I always felt like, you know, I was an artist, and, you know, kind of growing up, you're kind of, where I'm from, you're just kind of told to like, oh, like you need to get like a good job and all this stuff, and it's kind of like suppressed like in you. Downey is like a growing community, and it's starting to be really accepting of creative people. Growing up, I just didn't feel that way at all. It's kind of like, I wouldn't say like a cookie cutter town, but it's just kind of, you wake up, you go to work, go to school, you wake up and do it all over again kind of thing. I never really saw anything creative. You know, after I got on the front page of the newspaper, I was like, wow, I finally did what I set out to do, and that was to kind of like change the city where I live and to make people aware of like that there's like this creative energy out there that can't really be suppressed anymore. I love that I grew up there. It made me, I guess, the person or the artist that I am today. I enjoy remembering times when I didn't have like any care in the world. And like I enjoy remembering, yeah, the things that just made me happy. Like stuff that I've forgotten when I was a kid, and I feel like other people forgotten those feelings or those things, and I'm really trying to like bring it back. And so it's a really personal kind of thing, and I think that's why people really love my stuff, because it's really like personal, and they have like this connection with it, and they've felt the same way as these little kids feel. These are like feelings basically that I'm painting. I think most children maybe grow up too fast, maybe, you know, or don't even get a chance to be young. I think for me, I'm always missing my childhood. Like I always wanna, like I never wanna grow up. Like I've seen that side where you have to grow up, and now like I'm just like, oh, I don't want to grow up. So maybe that's the reason why I'm painting these kids. I don't know. Street art is, I mean, even my street art is just, you know, it's made to say something real quick and then it's gone, you know. I always say if you love something, you should give it away. You should show somebody. So that's kind of like what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing so much. So you know, I'm just giving it to you. That's how I really feel. Bumblebee Loves You was just supposed to be like one piece. I remember I was just gonna do like a text piece, and then I thought like, well, like, why don't I just make that my signature? It just has this like really cool aesthetic flow to it that I just personally love, and I think, you know, that has a lot to do with it. Definitely, Bumblebee does love you, for sure.